Africans, right? African Americans and Black Americans kind of have like this little tension with each other, obviously, and it's like they don't necessarily like Africans don't necessarily like Black Americans, and I hear this a lot, and I honestly I'm not necessarily a victim of it, but I've seen it happen to others, right? I've seen Africans literally be racist to Black Americans, or I guess xenophobic. I don't really know the term really, but let's see what she's talking about.
Hey, mommy, I don't think as Ethiopians we're ready to have the conversation that we love cosplaying African American when it benefits us, from permission to using the N word to being credited for or profiting off of the ingenuity of Black Americans, by blending in because of our skin color, i.e., people trusting, loving, and endorsing a Black Americans for good food.
Apparently, the only thing you need to be able to say the N word is dark skin. Essentially, I mean that's the general consensus that everybody has agreed upon. So, all right, that I mean, you know, obviously, if you're dark skinned, you're gonna use that to your benefit.
Food, music, language, fashion, social justice movements, arts, etc. Everything that erupted out of this beautiful culture. Basically, we love clout chasing African American culture for our own benefits, but when it really comes down to it, when it comes down to being Black, we'll play model citizen immigrant in a hot second for our own convenience, forsaking our Black brothers and sisters for any opportunity. No, for even much less. For a man or a moment. Yeah. I don't think we're ready for that either. My bad.
But let's keep it a buck though. Let's keep it a whole stack. Even Black people do that to other Black people, so it's like yeah, obviously it's weird. It's a very weird time we live in because like finally, Black. Well, I guess not finally, but I think it's being put on a bigger uh stage now where everybody realizes like okay, the term all skin folk ain't kinfolk definitely has been a term that's been around a long time, but I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. And here's the thing, my thing. I really don't have a problem with any Africans. I've never had a problem personally with Africans, although in the back of my head because I hear so much about this, every time I do talk to, meet, and like exchange and interaction with an African, I have that in the back of my head. Like, what do they think of me? This doesn't just stop at Africans. I'm also thinking about like Caribbean people. Even though I myself am half Caribbean, I always have to think about that. Like, it's not as bad as when it's a whole different genre of people. Like, it's not as bad as when I'm talking to a white person or when I'm talking to a Hispanic person or when I'm talking to an Asian person. It's not as bad, but I still have to think about how does this person view me in a way. Not that I care, but I still have to think about like how am I gonna move in this situation in this room, right? To where it's like they're not gonna assume the worst. And it's like I don't really change how I move or anything like that, or like how because I feel like I'm pretty decent. I feel like most people don't. I feel like in general, most people aren't going to agree with how I think or like have the same type of mindset of me anyway. So, but again, when it's a person of a different culture, I'm thinking about that like times 10, you know? And like I said, even people of my culture I highly disagree with or probably highly disagree with me about certain things, right? So I just feel like everybody cosplays. Everybody cosplays, even if it's your own culture. Like you're going to cosplay at least a little bit, even if you're not like that. It's called peer pressure, right? We all put on a mask at certain times for the benefits of ourselves. I'm not saying there's that makes it right. Just because we all do it doesn't make it right. Like if we all killed it, that doesn't make killing right. If we all did something that was deplorable, it doesn't make the deplorable action right. It just makes it normal, right? It makes it normal though. Um, so about this, I don't think this is. She's specifically addressing Ethiopians, which is I respect that. I respect when people address their own people rather than trying to talk to, people outside of their culture or race or whatever you want to call it. Uh, I'm of the variety of person that really strictly believes, not even believes, I know that race is it's a slippery slope. You know, people will think things about others no matter what, right? Even if there wasn't skin color, right? We could have like different teeth, right? Let's say some people's teeth were shaped like this and some people's teeth were straight down. Uh, People would demonize, either both sides would demonize each other just because they're different, right? That happens. That's just natural timing. I don't know why humans do that. Well, I'm gonna say I don't know why. I have an idea. It's because when things are different, we're automatically going to assume the worst about that different thing because that's how we survived, right? When back when humans were coming up and we didn't have all the technologies and all that, and all we had to do was rely on our brains and our instincts and our natural abilities, which is like I guess we have really good stamina. We have the best stamina on the entire planet. um, we have the most intelligence. Obviously, we can use tools more effectively than any other animal on the planet. Obviously, um, we had to be very cautious about the different things out there. Like we had to be very cautious for things that didn't look like us, that didn't look like humans. We had to be very cautious around them, right? But I get what she's saying though. It's like someone said it in the comments actually. Everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga. Everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga. Who said that? Paul Mooney, right? Paul Mooney said that, and I find that very interesting that everybody loves black people, but at the same time, when it comes to us like standing up for ourselves or saying anything that's like wrong, oh, all of a sudden we're victims. We're making ourselves a victim or something like that. But when other people have a speaking out against whatever is an injustice to them, now all of a sudden it's like it's okay, right? Um, One thing that I'll say right now that does that's happened a lot, right? Is actually another video of mine. I made a video about Harry Osborn, not Harry. Well, yeah, Norman and Harry Osborn being black, right? And not a lot of people, just a couple people commented on there like, oh, so like you guys don't have the creativity or anything like that to make your own characters, so you got to take white characters. Not true. First off, these are studios. These are huge studios, right? Creating these characters or changing these characters however they see fit, because most likely to get a rise out of people like you. But yeah, neither here nor there. When white people complain about white characters being turned black, they get a pass for that. There's a huge pass for that. Everybody thinks that's fine, right? Um, when in reality that's something that does not matter at all, right? So I don't know. I don't know if there can ever really be a rectification, or I don't know how to speak to all Ethiopians or all Africans really about this. You know, there's nothing that we can really do about this issue if we don't, right? If we don't look at the root. What is the root? The root is the assimilation factor, right? Because it almost seems like if an immigrant comes to the U.S., right, they already have a nasty taste in their mouth about Black Americans, right? Because of all the things you see online, right? Because of all of the disparaging that goes on about our culture, right? And again, don't get me wrong, there's aspects of the culture that I feel like isn't necessarily Black American culture, but gets lumped in, right? And I'm gonna make a whole nother video about that because there's too many things that is really just gang culture. It's really just drug dealer culture. It's a whole different culture, but then that gets lumped in with Black Americans for some reason. Now, I'm not gonna say for some reason. It's because that's how it's perpetuated. You know, you see it on the TVs, you see it in nonfiction and fiction. So of course, that's how people are going to think about black people. And of course, when it's like, oh, civil rights, oh, let's help black people. Of course, people are gonna want to piggyback off of whatever sympathy or whatever thing that people want to do to help black people. Of course, other dark skinned people, even if they're Caribbean or if they're African, are gonna want to piggyback off of that and try to also get those same benefits. That's that's not like out of this world. That's not even I wouldn't even say that's the most wrong thing to do. Because I know for a fact if an African came here in those times, the same things would be happening to them. If a Caribbean would actually it did happen to them. That's the whole point, right? It did happen to them. Um but at the end of the day, I think people need to know who they are, right? People need to know who they are, right? Whether you're gonna make fun of Black Americans, whether you're gonna be on the side of Black Americans, you gotta stay there and choose a side, right? That's the thing. People don't know who they are. People don't know what it. People don't know who they are, right? Someone said here, interesting. So, what is it to be black? What does it mean to be black? I bet this one grew up here. Cosplay, a mediocre take. Hmm. To be the foundation of America, black equals dead in the eyes of the government. To be black is to be unknown, but the blueprint. The reply was weak. To be black is to be unknown. You also be saying whatever. You probably want reparations too, right? Your ancestors fought to ensure you're free, and here you are crying to be seen. Get to work and build a name for yourself and your people. Quit whining. Interesting. Trackers, my ancestors fought for reparations too. It's a contract that hasn't been fulfilled. You here whining because we found ourselves. And yes, black under the law means unknown or dead. You haven't read the book, I see. Anyway, black Americans are. See, this is like this type of energy makes nobody like you, no matter what race you are. If you have this type of energy, oh yeah, we're superior. And look, I understand why motherfuckers got that energy, right? All right, keep being unknown with one of the lowest median incomes I raised, and then see, and this is what I'm saying, bro. It's like this is exactly why niggas have this energy, bro. This is exactly why niggas have this energy. Lowest median incomes by race. Asians are doing better. What's the excuse for that? Why you want to keep finding yourself? What? Okay, what is this person? Is this person native? This person's definitely. I don't know what this person is. Actually, it doesn't matter what this person is. That's the thing. This is the thing. It doesn't even matter what this person is. What matters is the things that they're saying, right? These statistics don't matter. They don't matter because they could be easily manipulated. And also, when you're looking at the numbers and you're not looking at what causes the numbers, that is the biggest problem here, right? Why is it one of the most lowest median incomes? Mainly because most black people are earning money off the books. Most black people don't earn money on the books. Let's keep two. Uh, I don't even know. I don't know why they said even the Asians are doing better when they literally. Okay, I'm getting off topic. The main topic is Africans cosplaying in Black America. I wouldn't use the word cosplaying necessarily because at that point they are African American. So it's like they're going to get engrossed in black culture if they are around black people in America, right? Um, and again, everybody's selfish. Everybody's for self-preservation. So of course they're gonna switch up when it all depends on the conversation. If a black person is doing wrong, all of a sudden now the African is African. If a black person is doing right and getting praised, all of a sudden the African is now African American and he's part of the black community. Like we know that that's a problem, but what exactly is the solution here? I feel like this is a problem that has no solution. You know, there's nothing that you can really do about it, right? Of course, you got to have the differentiations, but at the end of the day, it's like there's gonna be some people that ride with us, and there's gonna be some people that don't. And I feel like Black Americans, we can tell the difference. We're not fucking stupid. As look, as much as the statistics will have you believe, we aren't fucking stupid. We know when there's people riding with us. We know when there's something going on. Like that's exactly why a lot of the tactics that's been being done have not succeeded. right? That's why the erasure of dark skinned people in the world has not succeeded, because we aren't fucking as much again, and as much as there is violence against ourselves and all this other nonsense stuff that happens, uh, that's not the majority. That's not the majority, right? It's not. It can't be, because if it was the majority, we would have been dead in like way back then. And if it was the majority, then back in the '60s, we wouldn't have had way higher fucking everything. We were doing infinitely better when we were isolated away from white people. Isn't that kind of funny? Like, we were doing infinitely better as a race. I don't, again, I really don't want to get into what I believe with the race shit, but I don't believe in race like that. Like, obviously everybody's different colors and shit, but this race shit is, I think it's stupid. But anyway, as a race, we were doing way better back in the '60s, right? When we were isolated from pretty much everything. We were isolated from schools, we were isolated from from restaurants, we were isolated from everything. We had to support our own, right? And it's, I find it so interesting that as soon as that separation ended, right? Everything started going downhill. Everything started going downhill. Why is that? What type of things were being done? See, this is what I'm saying. Nobody pays attention to this. What things were being done to black people as a community that broke it up? That's what you got to think about. What was being done? I could give you a very easy answer, right? Let's go to the '70s. Cocaine. Cocaine was being done. So now that, look, after the '60s, everybody's chill, everybody's together now and stuff. Cocaine comes in. Why does cocaine come in the '70s? Why did crack happen in the '80s? Why did all of a sudden gun violence start going up in the '90s? It was a different operation every generation. If you look, it was a different operation every generation. Now, I know I've gotten way off topic here, right? I've gotten way off topic here, but at the end of the day, these people aren't cosplaying Black America, because they aren't. They know they're not Black Americans. They're just with us, right? They're with us when we're up, and they leave when we're down. And that's just, that happens all the time. We have fake supporters all the time. And I feel like we got to start looking at the individual rather than, like, because even she's generalizing her own people, which, I mean, hey, it might be a correct generalization, it might not be. But at the end of the day, this is not a problem that can be solved. At least not by you making a TikTok video. But yeah, I don't even know what to conclude about this, bro. Because I went like a whole bunch of different directions here. Because whenever you start talking about race, there's a whole lot of things that goes into it. And like I said, at the end of the day, this stems from this white supremacy kind of narrative that goes on in America, right? Now, why did I put the white supremacy in quotations, right? Because it's ridiculous. It's obviously ridiculous, but neither here nor there. Let's keep it cordial between Black Americans and Africans, right? Let's keep it cordial, because I know at the end of the day, if shit does pop off, we will have to be on the same side. Just so you know, we'll have to be on the same side. Just something to think about right there. And at the end of the day, when it comes to this race shit, it does not matter. Especially if you have money. If you have money, race goes out the window. All that matters now is each individual that you come into contact with. Because once you're out of that survival stage of life, you start to look at things differently. You start to look at people. You start to look at people for being people. You don't look at a person and be like, oh, they're African. Oh, this person's Mexican. Oh, this person's Asian. It's like, yeah, that's like the skin. But once you're out of that survival stage and you're not, you don't think people are plotting on you just because of your race. Now you realize, no, people are plotting on you because of what you have. People are plotting on you because of what you can do. And that's what motherfuckers gotta realize. Motherfuckers are not plotting on you because you're Black. People, motherfuckers are not plotting on you because you're white. People are not plotting on you because you're African. People are not plotting on you for any other reason other than who you are as an individual. That's if people, and like I said, that's if people are plotting on you in the first place. All right, that's it. I don't even know what else to say about this, bro. This is wild. Like, this is kind of wild. I feel like everybody cosplays as a Black American when it benefits them, including Black Americans. Code switch.